Tales from the jails, folks, with John G. Sutton. Do please like and subscribe. It's down there, folks. And, of course, there's a link to my book. This is part 2, HMP Manchester Prison Officer. Part 3, as a little quote from me at the start, it says, and it kind of sums up my attitude to petty authority. As I say at the start of the book, with a little quote from me, it says, unless you like the taste, don't spend your life kissing backsides. That's right, isn't it? But that seems to be the way it goes in the prison service. But they're all full of bloody Freemasons that are running it. Certainly were when I was there. Anyway, I'm going to talk today about an amazing development. It's called Operation Early Dawn, and it's brought in by the Ministry of Justice and Rishi Sunak, which was discussed in the Commons today on Prime Minister's Question Time. It seems that they are going to release a series of prisoners early, 70 days early, because the prisons are vastly overcrowded and the criminal justice system via the courts is in freefall. This is partly due, no doubt, to the fact that they're not paying barristers what they should be paying them. Apparently, a barrister's average wage is approximately the basic rate. I mean, you're going to go and study for 7 years to be a barrister and then get £15 an hour. You're going to do that, aren't you? And you're going to work for the court justice system with all the stress that goes with it, and you're going to provide a service for the courts at basic rate. I mean, you're going to get more packing shelves at Tesco's. But I said some time ago, and you can check this, it's on here somewhere because all my previous recordings are up here, that the prisons need breathing space, and they're putting people into prison willy-nilly. Now, we heard Rishi Sunak today saying that they are about to enter onto the biggest prison building programme in the history of Great Britain. How proud of that should we be? How proud of it? I mean, we can't go on like this. I mean, basically, what are they putting people into prison for? Previously said, if you can't pay your fine, you can't pay your fine. If you could pay your fine, you would pay your fine. But what are you getting fined for? Listen, I recently went before the magistrates for a speeding offence. I was supposedly doing 35 miles an hour in a 30 mile an hour zone. It was one of those roads where it goes 20, 30, 40, de-restricted 30, one of them roads, you're travelling down it, and within about 4 miles you had 4 different speed limits, and you're supposed to be watching the road, you're supposed to be paying attention to your driving, but because of these crazy speed limits, you're watching your bloody speed all the time. Anyway, I went before the magistrates, and I said to the magistrates, have you seen the evidence? Yeah, where is the evidence? No evidence. They hadn't. The prosecution had not bothered to produce any evidence. They just read out the allegation, and the magistrate said, "Well, what is your defence?" Well, basically, my defence was I am an Englishman, and if I say to you, as the magistrate, that I did not do it, then it's beholden upon you to listen to the evidence and decide if I did or didn't do it. But so far, not produced any evidence. Ridiculous. They adjourned it, by the way. Right. So now we've got the position whereby the courts can't cope. So they're asking the court to take a 7-day break, and get themselves in order. But they can't hear it. You see, people are going before the courts. The courts can't handle it. They're massively overstressed. The prisons are absolutely full to bursting. You've probably seen there's been comments here, and do please leave your comments down here. I like to read your comments, and so do everybody else. Yeah, and I will answer your comments as fairly as I possibly can. And don't forget, on the 4th of June, that's Tuesday, the 4th of June, first Tuesday in June, we're going to do a live broadcast here. So I invite everybody to join in and put your questions up in the chat box, and I will do my very best to answer to the best of my ability. Now, as I say, the prisons are, and somebody recently posted on here that said that they were in Wandsworth about 3 months ago, and the prison is on its knees. The whole system is broken. I mean, where are they going to put all these prisoners that they're inventing, and they're putting people into prison for something and nothing nowadays? Not because to protect society, no. They're not putting that, and they're putting people in there to maintain good order and discipline that are set down by the government. So they want to control you. And they've turned this country into a panopticon. Now, a panopticon means that eyes everywhere. Pan meaning everywhere, and optics meaning obviously can see. So they can see everything. There's a site at Otley in Yorkshire, I don't know if you've seen it, where they've got all these like white globes. They're listening into the conversations, listening to telephone conversations, listening into everything, recording all the connections, all your mobile phones, all your movements are being tracked. Everywhere you go, you're under CCTV cameras, and the whole place is turning into His Majesty's Prison, Great Britain. So who are the jailers? You're the jailers, yeah. There's a very famous TV series called The Prisoner, and in The Prisoner, Patrick McGoohan is in an island, and when he finally escapes, he opens it, he comes out, and he's in the middle of London. Why is that? Why is he in that? Because that's where the prison is. That is the prison. You are in the prison. You are the prisoner. Who is number one? You are the prisoner. And that doesn't mean that you're the prisoner. It means that you are number one. You've got to do the thinking for yourself. And that is what the message of The Prisoner is. And that's why the establishment hate that series. Watch it. You can get it on DVD. You'll be able to get it on YouTube. The Prisoner with Patrick McGoohan. And it says all the way through, he says, who is number one? You are number 6. Well, that was Patrick McGee's number as the prisoner. But believe me, you are number one. So treat yourself as number one, and do not, unless you like the taste, spend your life kissing backsides. Right, so that's it today. The thing from the government, a new idea from the government is we can't keep the prisoners in, so we're going to release them 70 days early. Good, they've got to do something. I mean, once you've been in prison, and if it's your first time in prison, then the first 20, 30 days, that's enough. You don't need any more than that to get the taste of it and know what hell it is. And people say, oh, bring back the death penalty. Believe me, I've seen people who've been in prison a long time, and they don't want to stay there. They want to die. And that's what happened to Ian Brady. Right at the end, Ian Brady couldn't take it anymore. He couldn't take imprisonment. He'd rather die. And he starved himself to death effectively, didn't he? He was on hunger strike, force-fed, and believe me, being force-fed is no joke. They get a big tube, they shove it down your throat, and they ram the food in. Well, that's what used to happen when I was a young man. So it's that time of day, folks. Remember, Operation Early Dawn. They're letting the prisoners out. And why not? Because 90% of them shouldn't be in there in the damn first place. So I'm going to sing you a song now, because you deserve it, you see. That's a warning bell. That's a song dinger, by the way. Yeah, this is a song that I quite like, this song. It's called Whiskey and You. I like whiskey, but only at the weekend. I don't drink in the week. This is Whiskey and You. There's a bottle on the dresser by your ring, and it's empty. So right now I don't feel a thing, and I'll be hurting when I wake up on the floor, but I'll be over it by noon. And that's the difference between whiskey and you. Come tomorrow, I can walk in any store. It ain't no problem, they'll always sell me more. But your forgiveness, well, that's something I can't buy. There ain't a thing that I can do. And that's the difference between whiskey and you. One's a devil, one keeps driving me insane. At times I wonder, well, if they aren't both the same. But one's a liar that helps me hide from my pain, and one's the long gone bitter truth. And that's the difference between whiskey and you. I got a problem, but it ain't what you may think. I drink 'cause I'm lonesome, and I'm lonesome 'cause I drink. But I don't break down and bring it on myself. It'll hit right out the blue. And that's the difference between whiskey and you. There you go, whiskey and you. Seriously, hope you enjoyed that, folks. If you did, report sick in the morning and I'll see you on the sick parade with my syringe. See you, folks. Tales from the jails.